Fine. So Airtel financials I've shared with you. In terms of borrowings, they have 2 lakh crores of borrowing as against their own equity of 72,000, which we have discussed that. So, these are the, if you look at, what are the various tariffs which are being offered by Airtel, we'll compare it with the idea also. Okay. So, they are offering, these are all prepaid tariffs. If you look at this thing, they are offering the lowest plan for rupees 265. It's very important for your, making financial modeling. So please, so Airtel prepaid tariff. So they have a plan where they are charging 265 and the validity is 28 days, unlimited calls and STD, unlimited local calls and STD calls, and data is 1 gigabyte per day, 100 SMS per day. Okay, which is throughout all the calls are carrying similar data this thing. So 265 they are charging for 28 days. So that translates into 240 rupees ARPU. How? Because 18% goes as service tax. So this figure 265 divided by 1.18, which I've done in my Excel sheet, which I'll share already. So we'll use that. So that means the ARPU is 240 for this plan. And the average revenue per user is 271 for the second plan. And as we go along, so the 719 plan, which gives you a validity of 84 days, for subscriber 270. Okay, as the amount increases, so they're asking for more amounts, so they're giving you more validity. So the revenue which comes to them, that squeezes. Okay. Now, if you look at the ARPU which was coming to average, most of the people will be using the 265 plan, okay, because the cheapest plan. So almost 80 to 90% people will be using this, and then followed by other plans. So the ARPU comes to 70% of 242. 240 is the average, taking certain breakup of how much subscribers there are in each plan. So the average comes to 242, assuming that there are only 70% people who are active, who are there in the VLR. So 70% of VLR, so the ARPU would goes to 170. The ARPU of Airtel is close to 170, isn't it? जो हमने देखा ARPU, that is around 171 with the current tariff structure. So it's coming out that way. Only number is 70% if we have considered as VLR. That means out of 100 people they're shown as their subscriber, only 70% give them the money. So when we take the whole base, so the revenue falls to 170 per subscriber. Despite the plans gives them around 240, 271, 217, 217. These are the only the prepaid plans. We can even look at the postpaid plans. Okay, and in our detail exercise, I have even included the postpaid plans. So is this clear? Why the ARPU falls to 170? Because 70% people are active. The rest of the people are junk. Either they're not using, or they have switched off their mobiles, or they have thrown their SIMs, whatever may be the reason. So 70% of people give them revenue. So it works out to exactly at 170, which is corresponding with the number which they have declared in their annual report. Now, if you look at the ARPU of Idea Cellular, so their plans are almost the same, but this plan is 265, their plan is 179. Okay, the minimum plan, which gives a 20 days validity and unlimited calls to now they're giving more data to attract customers. Okay, because they want that people should come to them, so they are offering more data, 2 gigabyte against 1 gigabyte given by Airtel. And then they are giving 300 SMS here, not per day, but the least plan gives you only 300 SMS for the entire month, for the entire 28 days. Whereas all other plans are 100 SMS per day. So if you calculate the average revenue per user using that 179 includes the GST, 18%. So if we knock off that, then the ARPU comes to 162 for the lowest plans. So their ARPU comes to 210, the combined ARPU of all the plans. Okay, assuming that there are 70% who are active, who are in the VLR, so their ARPU would come to close to 140, which is the number which they have declared, close to about 130 something or 137 or whatever. Okay, so this is their tariff plans, and these are the current tariff plans. Okay, they might have increased a little bit compared to what they were doing earlier. So if you look at the Airtel performance so far, okay, these are all in Excel sheets where I've linked everything. So we'll go to the Excel sheet and look at there. So their revenue has been growing at a CAGR of 12%. So every year the revenue goes up on an approximately the revenue is going up at close to about 12%, whereas their EBITDA is growing at 26%, and their EBIT, that is operating profit, is growing at 52%. Looking at the numbers of all the last 10 to 12 years, how the EBITDA, EBIT, and All these numbers are there in the Excel sheet. I'll just take you through that. So where only the numbers are coming from. Vodafone, their revenue line is top line is growing at 8%, and their bottom line is growing at negative. They're making losses at the moment. If you look at the EBIT, it's gone to negative now. But on the EBITDA front, they're still making around 35% return. So the EBITDA is going up by 13% on an average, whereas they have a negative growth because they are into losses now. So this is the EBITDA trend, The EBITDA trend is 38, 33%, now it's gone to 50%. So the company is becoming more profitable. Why so? Because they are, either reducing their cost or they're increasing their tariffs. Okay, so which is leading to an increase in the EBITDA. Okay, the wireless equipment cost is also coming down over the years, so which has actually led their margins to go up. Okay, then if you compare the Idea versus Airtel, their EBITDA margins, so they are generating 50% with the last number, exit number is 50% for Airtel and 41% EBITDA margin for Idea. So their EBITDA margin had dipped, way back in 2018-17 when Reliance Jio came in. Yeah. So it came to around 11%, 11.1%. So because a lot of people had churned out to Reliance and other. Yeah, yeah. हाँ, उनका भी drop हुआ है. Which are you referring to? 18 to 19? 18? हाँ, 2019. हाँ, they are back to 33% in 2020. Okay, fine. So this time, they are actually merged with Vodafone, and their combined, profitability grew up. Okay, so that's why we are finding now the company is still in EBITDA positive. Okay, around 41%, which is a huge margin. Okay, so when I was in Idea, we used to compare. The Airtel was our benchmark. So we were just trying to see why they are making higher EBITDA margin than compared to us. So we used to, work out our action plans that, we have to actually meet and beat Airtel. But I mean, only in 1 year we were very close to that. But rest of the years we are always down compared to the Airtel. Okay. So that's the very thing. We had a good meeting which started early in the morning, 9 o'clock, ended at 11 o'clock in the night, when our CEO, Himanshu Kampani, who was the CEO of the Idea Cellular, and now, of course, Idea Vodafone has a different CEO. So he was in Mumbai. At that time, he was the circle head of Delhi. So I was reporting to him. So we had a meeting till 11 o'clock in the night. Okay, and we analyzed that our margin gap was around 5% between Idea and Airtel that time. If you are making around close to about 28% EBITDA margin, and they were making around 32 or 33%. So I was supposed to analyze, how this gap is there, and can we bridge this gap? Okay. Now there are certain things which were, not controllable on our side, because the network, because we are using 1800 megahertz bandwidth, which requires 2 times more than the wireless equipment. Then because if you have to pay, you require 2 towers compared to 1 tower of Airtel. So their rent, what they pay for the rent and all the costs which are associated with the towers, there was much lower compared to us. So that was eating up at least 2% of our margin. So if you're 28% to 2%, we have no control. So we can compare 30% versus 34. So that means the 4% we are spending extra. We were spending huge amount of money on customer acquisition. There are two costs which are associated with telecom operator. One is called the customer acquisition expenses. The commission which you pay to the channel partners for getting new customers. And the second is customer servicing cost. We need to service the customers. Okay, we have to do the billing. We have to have so many, network equipment, IT equipment, which actually, generates all the report, and some people are working on that. And there is a call center, which is, calling up people, and, if there is any issue. So that all goes into the customer servicing cost. So we look into every component. Okay, so we were spending far more than them because we had more problems in Delhi. Because we were getting almost 2 or 3 times more calls compared to Airtel people who were calling Airtel network. So we had large number of seats in the call center compared to them, because our network was facing problem because of 1800 megahertz bandwidth, because the government was not vacating, the defense services not vacating the megahertz bandwidth which were given to us. So it was creating a problem for us. And then we were having more bad debts, because like people who were taken postpaid customers, they were not paying the money. So we had a huge amount of bad debt they were not paying. They were saying that we are not getting connectivity at home. So they refused to pay the bills. Okay, so we have given them postpaid. A lot of emphasis was on postpaid. We thought postpaid is very profitable. So we offered postpaid at a very cheap charge so that people take it, but people refused to pay. So almost like 10% of money was stuck up in collections. Okay. then we are spending huge amount, equivalent amount in advertisement and marketing as compared to Airtel. Almost the same. So our ad was coming along with Airtel ad every day on the newspapers and TV that time. So huge amount of money. Airtel has a huge data. I mean subscriber base. We had a less. So our percentage of marketing expense were very high compared to them. Okay. So what we had to do is we had to bring down the marketing and advertisement cost. Okay, if you have more subscribers, it will bring down. So we have to promote more and more, this thing. We have to, strengthen our network by putting more, the towers and, addressing to the needs of the customers so that our, call center rush comes down. So there were a lot of, action plans which came out. And, right up to 11 o'clock, the meeting was there. So there was a lot of questioning on the marketing and sales guys. उन सबकी पैंट उतार दी गई उस मीटिंग में इतनी ज्यादा उनकी धुलाई हुई उस दिन okay. And Birlas was very keenly involved in Telecom that time. They thought this company is going to do very well, but the fortunes changed. I mean, this thing. So this is the journey of ARPU of Airtel. It's been growing because they have been increasing their tariff plans. Okay, so it was 170, now it's 163 because they have increased almost 25% jump compared to what they were doing in Q3 20 to Q3 22. Okay, these are the Airtel financial projections. These are not done by me. These are done by the analysts. There are about 32 analysts who are tracking Airtel. This is the average, kind of a projection. So, which I'm going to skip at the moment. We are going to straight away go to, now there, there were 8 players earlier. Now it's 3 plus 1. Okay. So I'm just going to Vodafone idea where we are going to work on that and we are going to make projections on that. Okay. So Vodafone idea. So, they are basically purely a mobile player, isn't it? They are not into DTH, into all those kinds. They are just, providing a pure play of telecom is mobile. That's why it's much easier to work out their financial modeling. Okay. So this I've already shared. Of course, they have, their equity has become negative now. Their net worth has become zero or negative. So they have equity capital of 76,000 minus. Their reserves and surpluses are eroded. They have, they have become negative. Okay. They are running into losses. But they have borrowings of 2,48,000. Okay.
So what is meant by the negative?
Negative is that, if you do a business, suppose you put 100 rupees in a business. After 1 year, it will become 120 because you made profits and you're not taken out those profits. Your net worth has gone to 120. So that 20 rupees will go to your reserves and surpluses. Your own capital 100, 20 goes to your reserves and surpluses. Your net worth is 120. No, listen to me. Now what happens in the second year, you made a huge loss. Because of COVID, nobody was using your product and you suffered a loss of 50 bucks. So now your net worth will come down to 70, below your own original capital which you have put into the business. So that's the case here. Fine. But in your company, you're still having a net worth of 70. Suppose your loss was 130 rupees. So your net worth will be minus 10. Isn't it? Not equity shares. Equity share तो इसका 8 रुपए का चल रहा है market में. But okay, I'll just show you this. Just look at it. Go and open your Google, open screener. Fine. So this is there. Go to balance sheet. Look at their, share capital, 32,000 crores and reserves are negative 1,08,000. Isn't it? So this plus this is your negative net worth. They have taken a loan of 2,48,000 crores, which is I put in my slide, and their total capital, which was put by all the public as well as the promoters, was 32,000 crores. They have put into the business, but they have suffered a loss till date of 1,08,000. Okay, if you combine them, so they have a negative net worth, isn't it? समझ में आ गया? So fine. So ये हो गया. अब आते हैं हम प्रीपेड टैरिफ में आपको दिखा दिए थे. Okay. So there, ARPU is close to about 140. I made some changes in my Excel sheet, so I'll just show you them. So, okay, so this I'm skipping at the moment. And of course, they are driving ARPU. Their priority is to, their strategy is to increase the ARPU if they want to become profitable. Okay. So that's why they have increased their tariffs over the last. So this is the EBITDA trend. So let's go to the Excel sheet straight away and do some exercise now. After I explain you, then you have to do that exercise yourself. See, last 7-8 days, I'm working on all these numbers, okay? I've been just going to all the balance sheets and looking all the data, plugging in, putting them. They're huge 400 pages annual reports. So I'm splitting the, the PDF files and converting them to Excel sheets and putting all the data here, okay? Fine. So this number is coming right from the balance sheet of Idea. And so, there's a class exercise which you have to do. So you'll find a tab of class exercise question. Okay, and then the assumptions which will be given to you. So let's talk about the projections of, the numbers of this thing. This is the number which I've taken from the annual report of ISL. So this is the statement of profit loss account for the March ended 31st March. I'll share all the files with you where I split and just taken the figures from, so that you can do the similar exercise for yourself whenever you play. Service revenue. Service revenue is how much? 3,82,000 crores is the total revenue which the company has generated last year. Okay. Of course, another 1 year figure was given, which I have thought of. It's the last year number, 2021, which I have hidden because the column E and H is there. You can always see that. Then other operating income, very small other operating income, which can be anything. We don't know, some interest where they're getting on some investment somewhere. Okay. Revenue from operation. Now this other income is also from operations. Okay, mind you. So this is from other operation, not from fixed deposit interest or something. This is a very small number which doesn't require any explanation, so we'll not go into that. So revenue from operation is 3,82,000. So this is the money which they generated whole year from the telephony business. Their main business is telecom, mobile telecom. They don't have fixed line, they have only pure mobile. Then other income, which can be any other income. They have leased out some property to someone. Suppose some land is there, something. Kuch kahan se income hai? Kuch old property they have sold, 975 crores. We don't know about what is other income. Total income is 3,83,000 because it's a so small number, so we can even forget it. Okay. So this is the number. Now what I have done, I made a projections for 2023, 24, 25, 26. How I have done, I'll come to that. Then employee benefit expenses. These are all salaries. They pay to all the salaries, because the service industry, all the money goes in salaries, performance bonus, whatever money, provident fund, gratuity, everything. So which is 15,614 crores, which is 4.1% of the revenue. Okay. So you put a tag, and this you can immediately see that the formula is that it is representing the number of percentage of the this thing, 4.1. If you look at Airtel, they are close to 4%. So there is no problem. All the companies in the industry are almost paying 4% of their revenue as salaries. Network expenses and IT outsourcing costs. All the network, the BTS rent they're paying, or their power costs, whatever costs they're incurring on maintaining their equipment, all those costs are coming here. And IT outsourcing, they have outsourced all the IT to a third party, to another company. My presence when I was there, it was outsourced. So they don't have an IT department. The IT department is all entirely outsourced. Okay. So any new software is made, anything has to be done. It is done by the outsourced agencies. They are paying some cost to it. Then license fee and spectrum usage charges. So I told you it was 12%, 10%, and 8%. Now the things have changed. It will become 8% across all the circles. Okay. And there is another charge of 3 to 6% of the spectrum charge. So it comes to about close to about 10 to 11%. How much percentage I have shown here? 10.9. So it is dealing with that. So 10.9% is actually the license fee and the spectrum usage. This is paid to the government of India, and this is called AGR. There is a case which is going up to the Supreme Court where this was a lot of in the news. Idea was in trouble. Okay, so it was on a virtual closure. So Aditya Birla came on TV and says, I had to close down the company because there are huge dues the idea has to pay. Okay, they are all been converted into equity, and the government has taken the equity. They have said, okay, we'll convert all these money which are due to you, will get ultimately converted into the money which is we have put into the company as equity. Okay. License fee and spectrum charges. No, this is not amortization. Hold on. This is basically roaming charges, advertising. This is amortization also included in that. Amortization, the license which they are paid over the license life of say 10 years, 20 years, that gets this thing. But amortization is coming right below. Sorry, एक second यहाँ आ जाओ. This is amortization. There is a separate line item which is coming right at the end after depreciation. This is the license fee which they paid lump sum, which is getting amortized over the license of the life of the license. This is basically that spectrum charge. I told you this is the recurring charge which they have to pay every year, which is close to about 10.9%. 8% license fee. Okay. Now I told you there are two kinds of money which the government, which each operator has to pay. One is the recurring money, which is the license fee. When in '99 the migration policy was announced, that time the Prime Minister of India, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, says now you don't have to pay all kinds of fixed license fee. You have to now pay a percentage of the revenue, which was fixed as 12%, 10%, and 8%, something like that. Now it has become 8% across the circles because telecom companies were pleading that, they are running into losses, so it should be brought down. So it was brought down, and then there was an additional charge of 2 to 3%, which is called the spectrum charge, which was been even paid that time, but now it's become percentage of the revenue. Earlier, there was a dirty formula, a very complicated formula through which we used to calculate how much we had to pay to the government. And it was very struggle for us to understand the formula. And I understood the formula. I was going all the time to DOT Delhi. I was in Indore. So we used to reconcile the account. They used to say that this much money is due. We should say this much. There was a lot of reconciliations happening between us and the Wireless Planning Commission under the Department of DOT. So now they have made it rest. It is a percentage. Roaming and excess charges. Now this is roaming. Whenever you go abroad, like suppose I go to England, America, okay. Now I'm using, their network. Or suppose, the call has to be taken to England. I'm making a call to America in New York. So Idea can take the call only up to the shores of India. Final MSC, it has to be given somewhere in Mumbai. The gateway MSC there, the call will be dropped there. And then the call will be carried by the international roaming partner, whether it is Airtel or Reliance, they will carry the call to England, okay? And the carrier has to be paid. So I told you there is originator, terminator, and carrier, okay? The carrier is who carries the call, across the country, because Idea is taking their own call within the country because they have their own network. They don't have to pay any excess charge. But when the call is international in nature, when the call has to be carried to outside India, it has to be carried through the global network, which is either going under the submarine, under the waters, or over the waters, wherever. So it travels basically, it goes under the water only through the submarine cables. It goes and then it is terminated at the terminator, the person whom I have called. So it can be orange. So we have to pay him also. Okay, fine. Now, it's bill and keep as far as the terminator is concerned, but excess charge has to be paid. Okay. So roaming and excess charges. Now you understand bill and keep because terminators don't have to be paid because they are also terminating call our network. So we say square off. We don't pay anything for us. I think that should be the case now. Okay. Yeah, the license fees है, which is called adjusted gross revenue on which the license company pays the license fee. Revenue पे pay करती है, not on the it's coming 10.19% of the sales, which is close to that. Okay. Okay, fine. So think that your company is paying, a percentage equivalent to the revenue what they are generating. But this revenue is the gross revenue. So there is some adjustments, some deductions which are allowed, which is called AGR. So each company is supposed to file an AGR and pay a license to the government. So in fact, of AGR it will be much higher, 12% के करीब होगा. वैसे ये 10.9% का सेल का बनता है because they get some adjustments. Okay, fine. हाँ, अभी मैंने रेवेन्यू के साथ लिंक कर दिया. आपको जाने की जरूरत नहीं कितना पे करते हैं. आपने तो रेवेन्यू से बताया 10.9% है, सिंपल. Okay, roaming excess हो गया. Subscriber acquisition and service expenditure. Subscriber acquisition, you're paying some money to the partners, channel partners, the outlets who are, the people, sales people on the street who go and, some commission is paid for each new, kind of a connection. Earlier it was used to be $100 per connection. Now it may be just 5 or 10 rupees because things have become so less. So servicing expenditure would be the customer servicing. Suppose a postpaid, you have to take out a bill and send it to the customer. Earlier it was all printed. Now it's all on the digital. Okay, but there can be, a lot of, servicing expense, call center expenses, the people are making calls to the call center. So all the expense is going into the servicing expenditure of the company. Then advertisement and sales promotion, which is around 2.5%, 2.6%. It used to be as high as around 20% way back in 1995. When, everybody was, putting up, a TV advertisement running for, whole day because everybody wanted more and more subscribers. So now that percentage has come down to only 2.5%. Revenues have gone up and the percentage, now you don't find so many advertisements coming for Idea and Airtel still is giving. Okay, other expenses are miscellaneous expenses. So altogether, 59% is the expense. Rest 40% goes to EBITDA. So this is the EBITDA line. Okay, fine. Then after that, you reduce the finance cost, that is the interest cost. So I'll tell you how it has been calculated. Then the depreciation, amortization is the license fee. Okay, that's the money which the operator has paid when it took the license. Okay, that was a huge amount that time. That was waived off, but still, for any auction happens, they have to new license is given, they have to pay some money. So 88,000 crore still very high. Okay. Or, whenever they are allotted spectrum, they have to pay, auction price. So that has to be amortized over the life of the license. अभी आपको 1 लाख करोड़ गवर्नमेंट ने कलेक्ट करा था, फिर 30,000 कलेक्ट, तो गवर्नमेंट इज कलेक्टिंग लॉट ऑफ मनी बाय ऑक्शनिंग 3G 4G spectrums of 800 900 2100 2300 like this. So all the money is coming under basically amortization. अमोटाइजेशन जो है इसके अंदर, अमोटाइजेशन सिर्फ जो है वो स्पेक्ट्रम फीस जो पी है ऑक्शन वाली है वही आ रही है, लाइसेंस फीस तो बहुत कम रह गई होगी जो शुरू शुरू में ऑपरेटर ने पे करी थी, अभी तो रेवेन्यू शेयरिंग हो गया तो लाइसेंस फीस में नहीं आती, मोस्ट लाइकली नहीं है, अब सब ऑक्शन है. Each time we get a new spectrum, okay, so we have to go and bid for this thing and we have to pay huge amount to the DOT. Auction वाला है वो आ रहा है, हाँ ऑक्शन वाला अमाउंट है, और ऑक्शन वाला अमाउंट जो पिया that's paid into crores, okay, 1,000 crores, that can't be charged shown as a expenditure for the year, that is going to run through the life of the license, okay, the license run of the license is 20 years, so we have to amortize over that, isn't it? हाँ ठीक है, ये वो वाला चार्ज है. देन इफ यू, हाँ जी, लाइक ऑक्शन तो पहले हो गए थे कई, तो वो भी सब अमोर्टाइज होके आ रहे हैं ना. हाँ, और नए ऑक्शन होते हैं जब नई चाहिए होती है उनको, नए बार रिलीज करते हैं कुछ, पिछले साल भी शायद हुआ था कुछ. या या कब हुआ था? सितंबर में. सो दे आर पेइंग crores, yeah, so that's amount. So now if you look at the profit loss which is coming to loss, 2 lakh, how much, 282,999 million rupees, okay, which is around 28 crores of loss, okay, fine. Then you look at the tax, they are not paying any tax because they are making a loss. So then the basically at the last line if you go, they are having a earning per share of negative 9.82. Total number of shares are 32,120 million shares, okay, which I have picked up from the screen up. So it gives you 9.82 exactly the number which has been reported in the balance sheet, okay. I have tied up with that, okay, fine. ये हो गया. अब हम चलते हैं प्रोजेक्शंस के ऊपर. फाइन, एक बार देख लेते हैं और उसके बाद आप क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे, क्योंकि आप जब एक्सरसाइज करेंगे यू विल आस्क क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम मी, ओके. नाउ what I've done, I have just, first of all, I've tried to fix the revenue. So we go at the bottom, right at the bottom, and pick up all the plans they have. Okay, first look at this thing. These are all prepaid plans. Okay, fine. So then I calculated the ARPU divided by 1.18. Okay, if you look at the formula, you can just see the formula. It is B47 divided by 1.18. So all the plans have been done like this. What is 1.18? That's a GST. अब GST तो गवर्नमेंट को दे रहे हैं ना, बाकी पैसा तो रहेगा टेलीकॉम ऑपरेटर के पास में. ओके, नाउ fine. So we are assuming that you have to just assume certain percentage of customers who are going to be in a plan. Okay, fine. So you can always tinker with that of your own. So I believe that 70% of the people are occupying the first plan, 10% the second plan, 15% the third plan, and then 5%. You can always make this is just an ad hoc allocation, but always the lowest plan will have the highest this thing. Okay, and this plan has a more validity. So no, it's a 15% I've chosen, so you can make it even less. Okay, this is slightly costlier, but it is giving 3 gigabyte of the band, this thing, your download. So what is this percentage? 70%. हाँ, ये कह रहे हैं कि आपके पास अगर 5 प्रोडक्ट हैं तो 70% you are selling product A, which is the least costliest because people are making calls. तो आपको अगर प्लान चुनना, आप बोलोगे मैं तो लेता हूँ यार 190 वाला, 179 वाला, एक महीने में चलता है मेरे, पूरा महीना चल जाएगा, मैं 179 ले लूंगा. अगर मैं यहाँ पूछूं, पोल लूं, तो उसमें से आपके में से 90% लोग बोलेंगे हम तो ये प्लान लेंगे. ठीक है, अब किसी आदमी को बड़ी है कि मुझे तो टीवी वॉच करना है, सब चीज वॉच करनी है, तो आई विल गो फॉर 359. इफ आई हैव लिटिल मोर डीपर पॉकेट, आई विल से आई विल टेक 359 which gives me 28 validity. Okay, so then I'll choose this. So I said 15% people will choose this because some people are doing gaming and other things, so they'll go for this plan. Fine. अब मैंने क्या करा, इन आरपू का परसेंटेज ले लिया सबका. ठीक है, 70%. देन आई जस्ट एडेड अप. द आरपू केम 188. आरपू कितना आ गया? 188 रुपए. ब्लेंडेड आरपू, सॉरी, द आरपू ऑफ प्रीपेड. देन आई सेड VLR रेशियो इज 75%, सो दैट मीन्स द आरपू विल कम टू 141. तो कंपनी को मिलेगा वो तो सिर्फ 140 रुपए पर कस्टमर मिलेगा, बिकॉज बाकी तो 25% कस्टमर तो है ही नहीं. जो उन्होंने रिपोर्ट करे हुए हैं वो कस्टमर एक्चुअली कुछ दे ही नहीं रहे. 40% रिलायंस जियो और 70% आइडिया. यहाँ पर, यहाँ पर ये वाला, हाँ हाँ, यहाँ तो मैंने मल्टीप्लाई करा ना इसको, इनको मल्टीप्लाई कर गया परसेंटेज से। प्लस की जगह आप इज इक्वल टू डाल दो, प्लस डाल दो, कुछ भी डाल दो, वो तो सिर्फ फॉर्मूला का साइन है। दैट वट एवर यू आर यूज टू, यू गिव दैट, ओके, डोंट गो बाय माई दिस थिंग। आई द वे आई एम ट्यून टू यूज द एक्सेल, आई एम डू दैट, ओके। So you can do, you get the desired same result, no problem, okay. कहीं किसी भी जगह पे कहां पर भी गूगल में ढूंढ लो, कहीं नहीं मिलेगा। When you go and say what is the VLR percentage of Idea Cellular, nobody publishes that. Only you have to get it if you are working in telecom, or if somebody is working in telecom and you can talk to him and say, and he will be also very reluctant to tell, because that's all very confidential information. So I'll just show you the messages with the president of Vodafone Idea in Delhi, who was reported to me earlier. So she told me it's between 40 to 60%. थोड़ा वेगली बताया, मैंने कहा यार कुछ ज्यादा लग रहा है, 70% तो होना चाहिए। कह रहे नहीं वो ठीक है आपकी बात, लेकिन जो सबसे कम वाला है वो रिलायंस का है 40%। आई एम टेलिंग अबाउट द इंडस्ट्री, ओके। सो आई हैव टेकन 75%, ओके, यू कैन टेक 70%, 60% इफ यू फील लाइक, ओके, फाइन। तो आ गया आरपू, आ गया 141। You know where you get the ARPU very close to what they are publishing, so that would be the right number somewhere. You are making some assessment, okay, some assumptions, okay. Then assuming 98% is prepaid, so it will give you 138. Let's go down and let goes to the postpaid plans, okay. You can just go and look at the all the postpaid plans. So one is 399, okay, another is 1299. Then all this stuff, okay. So family plan, 1%. These are 5 persons can use this, 4 persons can use this, 3 persons. So what I have done, I have made, per person. Then I have done is that, 30% will use this, 20% will use this, okay. So it comes to 326. So ARPU comes to 326. Just don't go by the numbers. You can always choose your own numbers, okay. Fine. I have just made some calculations, okay, and I'm not wrong in that also, I may say. So, assuming that postpaid VLR ratio is much higher compared to the prepaid. सबसे ज्यादा गंदगी होती है प्रीपेड में, फिर कम गंदगी होती है पोस्टपेड में। जिसने पोस्टपेड कनेक्शन लिया है वो तो यूज ही करेगा ना। 10% ना यूज कर रहे हैं, उन्होंने बंद कर दिया, तो मैंने VLR रेशियो 90% ले लिया। यू कैन इवन टेक 85%। सो इट कम्स टू 293, 2% ऑफ द कस्टमर, विच इज नॉट, इवन इफ यू इग्नोर द पोस्टपेड यू कैन स्टिल गेट द राइट नंबर। सो इट गिव्स यू ओनली 5 रुपीज। सो ओवरऑल आरपू कम्स टू 144। आपका आरपू कितना दे रहा है पोस्टपेड? सिर्फ 5 रुपए on the total subscriber bill. All the ARPU is coming from prepaid, because 98% of the customers are all prepaid, isn't it? हाँ, ये फैमिली प्लान है कि अगर आपने 1299 का प्लान लिया तो 5 आदमी यूज कर सकते हैं, यानी 5 सिम्स मिलेंगे। इट्स अ फैमिली प्लान, ओके। सो यू पे 1299, ऑल द फैमिली कैन यूज इट। पे 1299, so one person pays 1299, like the father of this thing, your father can take, and all the children and wife and all the other people in the house, your servant, everybody can use this plan. Okay. हाँ.
But we are taking VLR ratio.
हाँ.
It's visitor.
Yeah.
So why we are not taking the housing ratio directly? It is a directly in Delhi.
हाँ.
So it's a housing. So it's the actual customer that the company is having. So we are taking VLR ratio.
Directory? There is no directory. है डायरेक्टरी, बट इट इज नेवर बीन मेड सो इजीली। डायरेक्टरी होगी, आप मैंने अपना नाम मैंने लगा लिया, 3 महीने के बाद मैंने फोन फेंक दिया, मेरा नाम तो है डायरेक्टरी में, बट आई एम नॉट यूजिंग इट। आई हैव शिफ्टेड टू पोर्टेड टू सम अदर थिंग, ओके। सो पीपल समटाइम लीव, समटाइम डाई, समटाइम व्हाटएवर हैपेंस, देयर इज लॉट ऑफ चर्न हैपनिंग। सो आज मैंने आइडिया छोड़ दिया, लेकिन अभी 3 महीने तक तो मैं आइडिया के कनेक्शन में बना लूंगा, वो मेरे HLR में रहेगा नाम। इट विल टेक 3 months to 2 months टू चर्न आउट फ्रॉम द सिस्टम, बिकॉज दे थिंक दैट वी कैन कॉल बैक दिस कस्टमर। फोन करेंगे, सर आपने क्यों चले गए, आ जाइए, तो 2 महीने तक तो आपको सुनाते रहेंगे, आओ वापस आओ, तो तब तक वो HLR में पड़ा रहेगा, आपकी तो संख्या बढ़ाता रहेगा, ओके। ये ठीक है? तो कीप आस्किंग, दीज आर वेरी वैलिड क्वेश्चंस, ओके। ज्यादा रेलिवेंट है। जितनी रिपोर्टेड नंबर है कि हमारे पास 117 करोड़ मोबाइल हैं, उतने है नहीं, है 90 करोड़, लेकिन पब्लिश फिगर इज 117, बिकॉज उसका 30% तो कूड़ा है, या 20% कूड़ा होगा सपोज, आई डोंट नो, बट वो कह रहे हैं रिलायंस तो 40% है, तो बाकी सब कूड़ा ही है। हाँ, ठीक है। तो आरपू कितना आ गया? 144, ओके। प्लीज लुक एट दिस, आरपू इज 144। नाउ आई हैव पुट दिस नंबर राइट एट द टॉप हियर, यहां जाके मैंने आरपू यहां डाल दिया, इसका नंबर 144 यहां आ रहा है. Okay, this is the actual number. The first line is actual number. Now this is the number which I have copied here. Then I have given a 15% increase every year, assuming no subscribers I have not changed at all. अच्छा देखो, सब्सक्राइबर्स 243 के 243 रखे, मैंने सब्सक्राइबर में कोई भी इंक्रीज नहीं दिया. बट क्लास एक्सरसाइज में बोलूंगा 5-5%, 2-2% सब्सक्राइबर बढ़ा लो. But as the subscribing are regrowing, what idea, people are leaving there. So I said, okay, let's say that the subscriber remains the same. On the worst case scenario, कम नहीं होते, ज्यादा भी नहीं होते, वहीं रहते हैं अगले 5 साल में भी. The idea is able to maintain all the subscribers they have. Even in a 5th year, they'll have 24 crores of mobile people. Okay, this is 243. हाँ, मैंने सिर्फ आरपू में बढ़ाया कि टैरिफ ही तो बढ़ सकते हो ना, टैरिफ बढ़ाओगे बाकी लोग भी बढ़ाएंगे, आपको भी बढ़ा लोगे हैं. बढ़ रहे हैं ना यार. अभी देखो, अभी कितने हो गए, 114 करोड़. आज से 10 साल पहले 50 करोड़ थे. 2001 में जब मैं था सिर्फ 50 लाख थे. तो बढ़ गए ना, सबके सब्सक्राइबर बढ़ते चले जा रहे हैं. और टेली डेंसिटी अभी भी 84% है, रूरल में 58% है. तो वहां तो अभी बहुत स्कोप है. और तब बढ़ेंगे कैसे कि वो कोई रिलायंस का छोड़ के आइडिया में भी तो आ जाएगा, कोई आइडिया छोड़ के रिलायंस में चला जाएगा. तो ऐसे तो चर्न होती रहेगी ना. कुछ तो इंटरेस्ट ऑपरेटर चेंज होंगे, कुछ नए आएंगे. रूरल में 58% आ रही है. जैसे अर्बनाइजेशन होती जा रही है, so there is some still scope, some left. Okay, we have almost like overall tele density of 84 people out of 100. So that means it may go up to 90. Okay, fine. But in this case, I'm saying idea is not going to increase anything. This is my assumption. Okay, fine. तो अब हमारा आरपू में मैंने बताया कि 15%, आप उसको 10% कर सकते हो. बाद में जाके मैंने 5% कर दिया अगले 2 साल. पहले साल में मैंने 15% बढ़ाया, फिर मैंने 5% बढ़ा दिया. ठीक है. यहां जैसे बढ़ाओगे आप और फिर आरपू को एनालाइज कर लो आप. ये जो आरपू है 144 रुपए का आरपू आ रहा है, इसको 12 से मल्टीप्लाई कर गया, पूरे साल का आ गया 1729. ओके, फिर इसको सब्सक्राइबर से मल्टीप्लाई कराया और ये फिगर ऊपर आ गई. यहां पर ये फिगर आपकी यहां आ गई, ये तीनों जगह पे. तो रेवेन्यू जंपिंग फ्रॉम 4 करोड़ 4,20,314 million rupees, then 483 crores, then 507 crores, then 532 crores. Like this it's going up. Fine. 5 साल की नंबर आ गई. एक बार सुन लो, फिर आस्क करना क्वेश्चन. ओके, फाइन. ऐसे ही जो अदर इनकम थी, वो बड़ी चिल्लड़ इनकम थी, उसमें मैंने 5-5% बढ़ा ली. अदर इनकम तो छोटी सी है, तो कहीं ऐसे तो है नहीं, मेन बिजनेस तो है नहीं उनका. ऐसी अदर इनकम थी, वो भी मैंने 25-25 करोड़ बढ़ा दी हर साल. दैट इज नॉट गोइंग टू मेक अ बिग डिफरेंस. ओके, टू आवर एनालिसिस. ये परसेंटेज सेम रखते हुए मैंने इसको माना कि हर परसेंटेज सेम रहेगी अपने एजम्पशन में. जो अभी एक्चुअल आ रहा है वही परसेंटेजेस हम स्पेंड करते जाएंगे. तो कॉस्ट तो बढ़ रही है पर खर्चा ही बढ़ रहा है. It is linked to the percentage of the revenue. So we are increasing, inflation is causing increase in this thing, but the percentage of the expense remains there. Fine. So फिर हमने ये निकाल दिया सारे. तो हमारी EBITDA भी आ गई है ना. अब लास्ट देते हैं फाइनेंस कॉस्ट. हाँ, परसेंटेज. ओके, दैट्स गुड. हमें एक छोटा छोटा क्वेश्चन पूछते हो, बाद में जाके आप सब चीजें पूछना, मैं खत्म कर लूंगा. फिर आप जब एक्सरसाइज करोगे ना, आप क्वेश्चन पूछते रहना, करते रहना. ओके, नाउ लेट्स गो टू फाइनेंस कॉस्ट. अब फाइनेंस कॉस्ट क्या है, ये मैंने लिंक करी है बैलेंस शीट 16. दिस इज फाइनेंस कॉस्ट. ओके, तो मैं बैलेंस शीट, वोडाफोन बैलेंस शीट में गया. ओके, और यहां पर मैंने B16 है ना मेरी फिगर. तो मैंने यहां देखी कि हमारी लोन्स कितने हैं बैंक से. ओके, ये लोन मैंने पकड़ लिए सारे, ये भी पकड़ लिए, ये भी पकड़ लिए. टोटल लाइबिलिटी आ गई इसकी 1,14. ये कौन सी है, हाँ, लीज लाइबिलिटीज भी है. तो सारे मिला के जो उनका लोन है, वो इतना पैसा उन्होंने उधार पे लिया हुआ इन वेरियस फॉर्म, वेदर थ्रू लीज और थ्रू डेफर्ड पेमेंट ऑब्लिगेशंस. दे आर एक्चुअली व्हाट हैपेंस कि आप कोई सामान लेते हो और आप कहते हो कि हम पेमेंट आपको आराम आराम से करेंगे. तो वो ऑब्लिगेशन है उनकी, उसके ऊपर भी वो ब्याज दे रहे हैं, मान लिया. ठीक है. अब हमने देखा कि टोटल ये तो लोन थे, और ये जो था हमारा इंटरेस्ट था, मैंने वहां से पकड़ लिया फाइनेंस कॉस्ट एक्चुअल में. पिछले क्वार्टर, फर्स्ट ईयर तो एक्चुअल है. तो ये आ गया करीब करीब 11% का इनका चल रहा है इस टाइम इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट. जस्ट लिसन टू मी, डोंट आर्ग्यू विद द नंबर, जस्ट लिसन एंड देन यू विल फाइंड इट्स वेरी सिंपल. तो उनकी 11% कॉस्ट है टोटल. दैट मीन्स दे आर पेइंग 11% इंटरेस्ट ऑन ऑल द लायबिलिटीज व्हाट दे हैव. ओके, अब लोन तो पे कर नहीं सकते हैं क्योंकि इतना पैसा, इतना कैश फ्लो जनरेट नहीं हो रहा. मैंने कैश फ्लो निकाले, नेगेटिव चल रहा है बिकॉज कंपनी इज नॉट मेकिंग मनी. सो दे आर नॉट एबल टू पे एनी लोन्स. दे कैन बी ओनली पेड इफ द the promoters bring more capital. अगर बिरला पैसा ले आती है और या कहीं से फंड करा के और लोन वापस कर देती है तो कर सकती है ना, अदरवाइज तो नहीं कर सकती. तो लेट्स अज्यूम दैट दे आर नॉट ब्रिंगिंग देयर ओन कैपिटल टू रिड्यूस देयर लोन्स, nor they are able to pay loans out of their own accruals because the company is not into heavy losses. मतलब बिफोर इंडस्ट्री लॉस में आ जाती कंपनी. सो अब मैंने क्या करा, एज्यूमिंग दैट द इंटरेस्ट रेट्स आर गोइंग टू ड्रॉप डाउन. नाउ अभी जो ट्रेजेक्टरी है, इंटरेस्ट रेट्स हैव पीक्ड इन द कंट्री. नो, you can have your own assessment. According to me, according to analysts, the interest rates are going to soften as we go along. Okay, so interest rates have brought down by 0.5%, फिर आधा 0.5%, फिर 0.5% या 10% मैंने रखा, कितने 10% रखा, फिर आधा % करा दिया. So I assume they will be paying 10.5 from 11.9 to 10.5 to 10% to 10% to 9.5. ये मैंने परसेंटेज एज्यूम कर ली कि इंटरेस्ट रेट 9.5% आ जाएगा अगले 5 सालों में if the interest rates keep dropping. Okay, we are in the downward cycle. The RBI has increased the repo rate by 35 basis points in the last meet they had. Now they said that we are coming to the end. All over the world there is a general perception that the interest rates are going to ease, and we are witnessing that happening also. Okay, ये हो भी रहा है साथ साथ में. अभी जो हमारी गवर्नमेंट यील्ड थी that went up to 7.6%, now it is hovering around 7.2%. So गवर्नमेंट ही बोरो कर रही है, पहले 7.5% से ऊपर, अब बोरो कर रही है 7.2%. So the interest rates are softening. So interest cycle is coming down. The crude price has cooled down from $130 to $190, sorry, now $89 भी आ गया था, तो कम होता जा रहा है. So this is going to bring down the pressure on the fiscal part of the government. So it is going to soften up the interest rates. Okay, तो मैंने ये मान लिया कि करीब करीब 1.7% से इंटरेस्ट रेट कम हो जाएगा. तो विद दिस रिजल्ट द इंटरेस्ट रेट्स, हम देखोगे फॉर्मूला, तो इंटरेस्ट वही, बोरिंग वही ली हुई है, बोरिंग इज नॉट पेड, उसका परसेंटेज मल्टीप्लाई करके यहां आ गया बैलेंस शीट से. ठीक है, समझ आएगी बात. एडिशनल लोन्स, नो, अब लोन क्यों लेगी वो? हाँ, लोन तब लेगी सिर्फ जब उनको फर्दर कैपेक्स स्पेंड करना पड़ेगा. हाँ, अब लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड दैट लॉजिक. दैट्स अ गुड लॉजिक. सी, यू सेड कंपनी हैज टू बोरो मनी. कंपनी बोरो करके कहां लगाती है? इन एक्सपेंडिंग देयर बिजनेस. दिस कंपनी इज प्रेजेंट ऑल ओवर इंडिया. They are assuming they are fully capitalized. Fully, that means they don't have to buy something more because the company is in losses. अगर एक कंपनी losses में है, huge losses में है, in the on the verge of collapsing, so Kumar Mangalam Birla is not going to put more money into the business. Okay, fine, but the replacement capex has to be done. That means the old equipment which are getting burnt out has to be replaced new. So that's why I have chosen here. Okay. और वो पैसा जो है वो बिरला कंट्रीब्यूट करेंगे. आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट दे विल गो एंड टेक अ लोन. ओके, दैट बिरला इज गोइंग टू पुट दैट, इट्स अ स्मॉल अमाउंट. सो आई हैव अज्यूम्ड 2% इंक्रीज इन फिक्स्ड एसेट्स एवरी ईयर, एंड दैट मनी विल बी एक्चुअली ब्रॉट बाय प्रमोटर्स. ओके, सो लेट्स गो बैक. दैट्स अ गुड क्वेश्चन. ओके, सो लेट्स गो टू द डेप्रिसिएशन. हाँ हाँ, किस लिए सिर्फ परसेंटेज की कम हो रही है? कंपनी इज नॉट टेकिंग एनी फर्दर लोन बिकॉज दे डोंट हैव अफोर्डेबिलिटी. नोबडी विल गिव एनी लोन्स टू देम. Okay, banks will refuse. Nobody gives a loan to a loss-making company. If they want to issue debentures bond, nobody is going to subsidize them. So the money has to come from the promoters. Promoters are not going to give the loan; they are going to infuse in equity into that. Okay, isn't it?
So don't like what my thought about next was that we have to see that what is the payment that we some of the policies in the end year.
Okay, okay. हाँ, बड़ी अच्छी बात है ये भी. That's good, very good. Suppose some money has to be repaid. So what they are going to do? They are going to suppose they are going to either the Birlas have to bring money to repay the loan, or they will take a fresh loan and repay out to the old loan. But they can't come out of the loan scenario. देखो हमने क्या करा है, वो बात आपकी बिल्कुल ठीक है कि अब कोई लोन तो उनका रीपे भी होगा. अब रीपे कहाँ से होगा? वो कुमार मंगलम बिरला देगा. हाँ, तो कहीं से आएगा तो कोई ओल्ड लोन चुकाएगा, नया लोन आएगा. देखो क्या होता है कि आजकल जो रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट कम हो रहा है, जैसे इंटरेस्ट रेट कम होगा तो वो पुराने वाले लोन पे कर देंगे, नए लोन ले लेंगे कम में, अगर सब उनको मिलता है तो. पहली बात तो बैंक पास जाएंगे, नोबडी इज गोइंग टू गिव अ लोन टू देम. दे विल से सॉरी वी कांट गिव अ लोन टू अ लॉस मेकिंग कंपनी. हमें मिलेगा कहां से पैसा? हमें कुमार मंगलम बिरला हैज टू गिव पर्सनल गारंटीज फॉर गिविंग द लोन्स. ओके, अगर आप पर्सनल गारंटी देते हो तब हम लोन देंगे आपको. देते हो? बोले नहीं, बट कहीं ने तो पैसा लाना ही है पुराने किसी लोन को चुकाने के लिए. तो या फिर वो कुछ कहीं से लोन जनरेट करेगा, तो कोई ओल्डर लोन वापस करेगा, नया लोन ले आएगा, तो लोन हम मानते हैं कि हमने बड़ा सिंपल माना है कि लोन हमने सेम रखा है. योर क्वेश्चंस आर ऑल वैलिड, ओके, बट द कंपनी डजंट हैव अ कैपेसिटी टू टेक फर्दर लोन्स. Okay, I am assuming there is no even repayment of loans. I am assuming for the next 5 years. It can see what is the loan, how much further loan they will be taking. ये पूरा loan schedule बनाना पड़ता है. That is wonderful. That has to be done. Okay, but beyond EBITDA level, things are not so easy for Idea because they are into a loss-making company. If they had not been, then we would presume that they'll invest a lot of money into expanding the business and take further loans. Equity will come. So we have not included that kind of a assumptions in that. Okay. अब depreciation देखें तो depreciation कहाँ रही है? वोडा बैलेंस शीट F12. Okay, F12. Look at the F12 और है BS2 जहां एसेट्स दिए हुए, सॉरी लाइबिलिटी एक जगह, एसेट दूसरी जगह. ये आ गए एसेट्स. अब टोटल एसेट्स कंपनी के हैं 4,88,000 एंड देवर सम कैपिटल वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस ऑल्सो. सो सम एसेट्स विच आर अंडर मेकिंग. सो इन दोनों को जोड़ दिया, ठीक है, और डेप्रिसिएशन अमाउंट मैंने पकड़ दी लास्ट बैलेंस शीट में, तो विच इज कमिंग आउट टू क्लोज टू अबाउट 30%. सो दैट मीन्स ऑन एन एवरेज दे आर चार्जिंग 30% depreciation on all the assets they own. Whether there's a wireless equipment, they're prone to very fast changing. Okay, fine. So अब मैंने क्या करा कि मैंने यहां पकड़ी फिगर 4,91,000 is the total asset base at the start. Then they add another 9,829 million rupees, which is 2%. That is a replacement capex. Of course, replacement ज्यादा लगेगा because asset depreciate ज्यादा होते हैं. तो मैंने 2% चुना है अभी. बाकी you can always make a change in your numbers. Okay, company will be further deep into losses if you do that. Okay, and that is going to be. So अब 5 लाख का कैपिटल बेस आ गया. इसके ऊपर मैंने डेप्रिसिएशन यहाँ कैलकुलेट कर ली और ये डेप्रिसिएशन आ रही है बाहर यहाँ पर. हाँ, रिप्लेसमेंट परसेंटेज ऑफ द एसेट्स. सो व्हाट आई हैव डन इज वी आर एज्यूमिंग कंपनी कुछ पैसा तो खर्चेगी पुराने एसेट्स की जगह नए एसेट्स को लाने में. ये तो है नहीं कि नहीं खरीदेगी. दैट विल बी अ रॉन्ग assumption to choose that the asset base will remain the same. So old asset base has to be replaced by the obsolete and old equipment. Okay, so we can change even 5% also if I'm 2% looks to be too small. Okay, fine. हाँ जी, हाँ. See, that is my assumption. Now we can always look for a very reasonable and very practical assumptions. If you want to debate, you can always work out on your own number. Okay, and then there is always one more area where you can just go to the analyst. If they're tracking Idea Cellular, they would have tracked the numbers and they would have forecasted the number, all the numbers, so you can see and compare with your numbers. Fine. So we'll go and see that also. Okay, amortization I have kept the same. Okay, assuming they are not going for any further allocation of spectrum. They have all the spectrum for 5G, assuming that they're not going to be allotted for the spectrum. अगर स्पेक्ट्रम लेते हैं तो ये बढ़ जाएगी कॉस्ट. अब हम इसको भी लें तो देखो कंपनी इज ऑलरेडी इनटू ह्यूज लॉसेस. 258,103 millions of losses compared to 282. फाइन फाइन 226, 202. और ये अगर हम देखें इनका ईपीएस आ रहा है अब, पहले तो 9 रुपए 82 पैसे नेगेटिव आ रहा था, फिर 8 रुपए का नेगेटिव आया, फिर 7 रुपए का आया, फिर 6 रुपए का आया और फिर 6 रुपए का आया. ओके फाइन. So this is the whole exercise. Now go to the class exercise. Okay, and assumptions. तो assumptions यहाँ पर हैं. 10% increase in tariff in all the plans. So you choose that there is going to be 10% increase. Okay, subscriber to increase by 2% per annum. Okay, VLRA should take 80% now. Other revenue increase by 7. It's going to be 7.5% increase every year. And other income जो छोटा है वो 50 करोड़ हर साल बढ़ जाएगी. Operating expenses will be, employee benefit has been, these expenses have been brought down a bit, okay? Because company is going to bring down the expenditures, okay? Because company has to cut costs to become profitable. So here I've chosen, this is the new breakup. Network was 26%, I brought it to 25%. I've seen, like Bharti Airtel का देखो network cost कम होती जा रही है, क्योंकि उनकी revenue बढ़ रही है, but percentage of cost भी कम हो रही है because वो कहीं, हाँ नहीं, percentage fix नहीं रही, वो भी कम हो रही है. They are becoming EBITDA positive more and more. From 40%, they have jumped to 50%. So Idea has to do the same thing. So earlier, they were making 40% EBITDA margin. Now they will be making 43% EBITDA margin with this numbers. Okay, fine. So they are saying that they will increase 3% in the profitability because of they bring down the expenditure. So with do this class exercise. Okay. ये मैंने फिगर आपके लिए ब्लैंक रख दी है, आप कर लो. परसेंटेज